If you want to build a successful AI automations agency, then this is the only video you're going to need to watch, because I'm going to be sharing with you every single thing that I did in order to go from zero to over $15,000 per month in sales within less than 60 days of me getting started. We're going to be diving into topics like how to choose your untapped niche so you can make a fortune, how to create an offer that is so good that your clients cannot help themselves but say yes to, how to do outreach and book qualified appointments on your calendar every single day of the week, how to close those appointments and convert that attention into money. I'm going to be giving you my contract template, my scripts, everything. I'm going to be holding nothing back. I'm also going to be sharing with you how you can develop those projects and fulfill the promises that you've made to your clients. I'm going to be sharing with you all the AI tools that I use in my agency, and I'm also going to be showing you how to hire a developer to work on your clients' projects in case you don't want to be doing that yourself. As you can see, this video is going to be the longest video uploaded so far, almost 2 hours long. So I want you to view this as a course that you have paid for. So lay back, eliminate all distractions, get a notepad out so you can put things on paper. And if you have additional questions, you can always DM me on Instagram and I'll give you all the clarity you need. With that being said, let's dive into the course. The very first step to building a successful AI agency is finding your oil well niche. And I think this is a step that most people kind of overlook and they underestimate the importance of. But if you're able to find an untapped market that has a lot of demand and very few competitors or people servicing that niche, then you're gonna make a lot of money very quickly. And it's kind of difficult to find a very small sub niche that actually has a lot of spending power and a massive pain that they need to solve. However, there is a process that you can follow that I'm going to share with you that will actually help you do that. So this is my niche choosing process, and keep in mind that this is mostly for beginners who don't really have any experience in other business domains, because if you do, then I recommend you start from that niche because you already understand. However, if you want to go after new niches, here's how you do it. So you start by doing a lot of research. What is research? Read articles, see what other AI agency owners are selling successfully, watch YouTube videos, get connected with business owners, ask some questions, and you want to talk to business owners who own different businesses, maybe restaurants, hospitals, clinics, real estate, you name it. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to have enough information and data to kind of go through to then be able to make an informed assumption that one niche might be better than another one because of X, Y, and Z reason. So once you do that, then you're going to have to run a test. And the way I do my test is basically saying, okay, for the next week or the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be sending this many messages or DMs or cold calls, however you want to, get your clients. And this is going to be my script. And I'm going to see what kind of feedback I get. So you're kind of slowly putting your feet in the water just to get a sense of how this market is going to react to your marketing. And then if you get positive responses, then obviously that's a good sign and you should double down on it. If not, then you kind of repeat the process. And there's nothing wrong with testing multiple niches at once at the same time, just so you can see which niche performs better than the other. Now, I also want to give you some niche choosing tips. Number one, if you have existing experience running any sort of business, leverage that. Leverage your existing experience to decide your niche. Knowing as much as possible about your ideal client's business model and operations will give you certain distinct advantages that other people won't have. Number one, your story is going to be matching their story. So that's going to make you more relatable and convincing in your sales calls. And other people who don't have experience in that niche, they don't have that benefit. Number two, you can come up with effective outreach angles to actually penetrate the noise that is taking place in their email or in their DMs, because there are going to be a lot of other people reaching out to them. However, if you truly understand how these people think because you've worked with them before or you were in their shoes before, then you're going to be able to penetrate the noise and you're going to be getting responses while everyone else is not. And number three, you know all the problems they're facing and you can come up with unique offers that are more valuable in their eyes than the offers other people are selling to them. Now, a quick side note here. If you're starting from scratch without any experience, you will need to basically follow the process that I laid out in front of you before. So see who other agency owners are successfully selling to. I have revealed the niches that I'm working with or I've worked with on my YouTube channel: real estate, restaurants, barbershops, right? So if you're immersing yourself into a lot of content from AI influencers, then you're going to be able to come up with ideas much easier. Also, have conversations with business owners in that market. You can join school communities, Facebook groups. Guys, it's just so easy. Read articles and watch videos to become more aware of what potential opportunities are out there. This is a secret to finding an untapped niche. You have to be more aware than everyone else to see the opportunity, while everyone else is just ignoring it, or they don't know enough to actually be able to see that, okay, this is a deep gold mine and it can make me a lot of money. Another tip is you want to avoid niches that don't have a strong online presence. And this is very important because many businesses will be skeptical about integrating AI because they are unaware of its capabilities and effective use cases. And the less internet dependent their business is, the less they think that AI can help them. So in my mind, I think it's smarter to focus on tech savvy businesses instead. And I want to give you a quick example. When I first started my agency, AI Solved, about a couple months ago at this point, I decided to run many different tests in different markets so I can decide which is the right niche to double down in. And one of those niches that I started targeting with my outreach campaigns was plumbers. But very quickly, I came to the conclusion that many of these plumbers, they didn't even have a website. And in fact, their online presence was basically dismal, non-existent, because they were getting most of their clients through word of mouth. And on top of that, they didn't even think that a website will be valuable to them. You know, you mentioned the word website. Yeah, I don't need a website, man. I'm making money through word of mouth. So what good can come out of a website? So that's when I realized that trying to convince them they need AI solutions is a waste of time. It's like throwing eggs on the wall. These people, they're so old school. They don't even have a website. And here I come throwing the term AI around. They don't understand that, man. They don't think it's valuable to them. They don't think it can solve any problems that they have. So avoid them. Now, there's also another side to this coin. This is not a strict rule. My guess is that as time goes on, many industries will be forced to adapt to the new way of doing things. So make sure you keep an eye out for niches that are about to go through a technological transformation. And a few examples I can give you of this that happened in the past is, how Netflix basically destroyed Blockbuster because one was quicker to adapt to the internet and the other one just kept doing things the old way. Spotify versus records, basically that industry went extinct because of technology. And this is going to happen again. So although right now at this point in time, I don't think it's smart to focus on selling to businesses that don't have a strong online presence, or at least are not heavily involved with computers. As time goes on and they are forced to make technological transformations, then those niches are going to open up and there's going to be a lot of money to be made. Another tip is focus on one niche. Your time is limited, right? You only have so much energy and so much time, 24 hours in a day. So you have to be very strategic to how you allocate your time. Once you're certain that you found a gold mine, and when I say a gold mine, I basically mean a niche that is not just a widespread niche, but a niche of a niche. So basically a sub niche, and you're confident that that works. You've sold solutions to that market before and it's all going well and you can fulfill, then eliminate all other options and put all your eggs in one basket, because going deep in the beginning is always smarter than going wide. You want to strike oil, right? And if you want to strike oil, it's not enough to drill, 10, 100-meter holes in the ground. No, you have to drill one very deep hole to strike oil. And this is the entire concept here. And it can take time to find a gold mine niche, right? In the process, you might need to take on projects from different clients. Like I do, you might need to work with different industries and for a few different reasons. Number one, to gain perspective and be able to make a more informed decision, but also so you can have money coming in, right? But ideally, maybe in 6 months or a year, I'm gonna be niching down my agency because it's a much better business model. An agency that serves a specific sub-niche, example, insurance companies that only sell life insurance in California, is in a more advantageous position. And there is this quote from Bruce Lee who basically said, I would much rather practice one kick 1,000 times rather than practice 1,000 kicks one time each. And this is the concept here. If you're just focused your entire agency to selling and servicing one particular niche, then you're gaining a lot of advantages doing that. Number one, a productized solution is going to have higher margins. You're going to be able to deliver projects quicker. You're going to have better sales metrics. You're going to build your reputation in a specific space that you can later, once you're dominating in that market, you can transition to a nearby market that is a strategic decision for you to make. But going deep and extremely focused in the beginning is much smarter than going wide and trying to sell to everyone. You're not going to make any money doing that. And listen, that does not mean that you don't have to take on additional projects just to gain perspective, as I told you, and make money, keep the cash flow coming in, and see what kind of businesses you enjoy working with as well and deliver great results for. But eventually, when the timing is right, you're going to have to double down and just focus, because intensity defeats extensity. Now, another side note, the key to finding an oil-well niche is awareness. You have to keep an eye out on the market, listen to people's problems, listen to the competition, study the metrics, and you will gain your distinct advantage through information. Avoid niches that are promoted by large influencers. So what happens is information that is widespread and a lot of people know about ceases to give you an advantage because everybody knows about it. So every time a large influencer in the space promotes a certain niche, then a lot of people flood that niche, and now it's no longer as profitable as it used to, or the outreach metrics drop down because people are using the same messaging again and again. So you don't want that. Now, the second step is crafting your AI offer. And this is very important as well. The first step was who you're going to be selling to. The second step is what are you going to be selling? So I always start my offers with putting together an elevator pitch. So I help X niche achieve X desired outcome in X time with X mechanism without undesired process. And this is going to be your elevator pitch. Whenever somebody asks you, what do you do? This is what you're going to be telling them. Now, here is a quick side note, and then I'm also going to give you an example as well. So your offer is not what you're selling, but how your ideal clients perceive it. This is very important. You can say that you're selling an AI chatbot, or you can say that you can help them generate qualified leads on autopilot without ads. The solution is basically the same thing. The only thing that's different is the packaging. So how you package, how you wrap up your solutions to be perceived by your client's eyes and ears is extremely important. In many cases, it can make or break your offer, right, and your business. So an example will be, I help real estate agencies in Dubai generate an extra 10 to 15 qualified seller leads every single month with the power of AI voice assistants without running ads or without spending a single penny on ads. So this will be an example of an elevator pitch that you can use. So some offer development tips that I think help me personally. Number one is certainty. This is the first element of a powerful offer. The more confident your client is that your offer will work for them or give them the results that they're looking for, the more likely they are to move forward and tell you that they're ready and give you that sweet yes that you're craving for. So You can increase their certainty through a guarantee by showcasing social proof, which in the beginning you probably don't have, or through your pricing model. Now, guarantees and risk mitigation. Give them a way out of a bad situation to make them feel more comfortable in taking a risk. Many times people feel afraid of giving you money and working with you, not because they don't trust you, but because they don't trust themselves to make the right decision. They think of, okay, what if I move forward with this and tell all my team about it? We integrate this solution in our operation. I get excited about it. I spend money on it, and then it doesn't work. Well, if you give people a way out of a bad situation through a guarantee, then it suddenly makes things much more appealing and it makes making a hard decision easier. So a guarantee that you can use is, I'll give you a full refund if you don't feel satisfied with the solution within the first 90 days. And you can also put that on a written contract to make them feel even more comfortable. And if you're worried about the fact that you might have a lot of people asking for that refund since you stated in the contract, what I found out over the past, 5-6 years I've been in running different online businesses as an entrepreneur, is that if people see that you're truly interested in helping them and you're genuinely trying and you're reaching out to them and there's communication between you and you're making tweaks, you're delivering things on time, even if they're not getting the results that you promised to them, they're not going to go ahead and ask for a guarantee because they believe that there's still a chance. So don't be afraid of using guarantees as long as you're willing and able to actually go above and beyond to satisfy your clients. And I promise you, 9 times out of 10, even if they might, quote unquote, deserve one, they're not going to ask for it because they see that you're trying and you genuinely want to help them. Now, another way you can increase your client certainty is through your pricing model. So basically, the dream of every client is to pay you based on results. This is what they all want. And sometimes this is not going to be feasible because of the kind of solution that you're selling, or because you might need money up front to cover development expenses and whatnot. So this is just not going to be the case most of the time. So what are the pricing options that you have that you can try, pairing them with your, so what are the pricing models you can pair with your offer to make your offer more appealing? So number one, you can ask for a one-time payment up front plus a subscription fee. Basically, I'm selling this AI voice assistant. It's going to cost you $5,000 up front plus $200 per month for maintenance and ongoing support. Another option is one-time payment or split payment without subscription. Then split payment before and after delivery. So 50% upfront, 50% after you deliver the project, and then a subscription fee as well to keep things going. This is my current pricing model. Initially, I was just charging a one-time payment, but now I kind of transitioned to a split payment and then a subscription fee, because I think this kind of reduces the cost, the initial cost at least, for a client working with you. Another pricing model you can try is smaller upfront investment plus revenue share. This is not always feasible because certain solutions that you integrate for your clients might not directly correlate to revenue generation. So there's not really a way for you to measure that. Usually for larger projects, which I haven't really worked on a very large project, 20K plus yet, but I've seen other people charge on an hourly basis. So they basically have an hourly rate and they estimate that this project is going to take 1,000 hours to complete, and you're going to be paying $50 an hour, so it's going to be 50 grand by the end. But you're charging on an hourly base, and then maybe every week or every month you send them the bill, they pay you, and then you keep going on. And then the last way, which I think is very interesting, and I haven't experimented with this yet, but I'm probably going to give it a shot, is a milestone-based pricing. So milestone-based pricing means that they're paying you as you're delivering their solution. So the first payment might be on the day that they sign and they decide to move forward with this. They give you a small initial setup fee, maybe $500 or $1,000. Then the second payment might be once you deliver a minimum viable product and they can see it in action. Then they pay you the third payment once you actually integrate the product in the real world and it's functional, and so on and so forth. So this kind of makes it more appealing from the client's perspective as well, because they don't have to take a massive risk up front, and it also forces you to maintain your very healthy client relationship, one, but two, it just forces you to fulfill your promises and be on top of your games. So if you're just starting out, I think the pricing model that is going to make it the easiest for you to sign clients is going to be the last one, number 6, because clients don't have to pay you a massive amount up front. So even if they don't really trust you, they can take on a small risk. And then it also forces you to deliver on time because you're being paid based on certain milestones that you achieve. And you can always obviously agree those milestones with your client. Now, the second element of a valuable offer is time delay. The quicker you can deliver the promises you've made to your clients, the more valuable your offer will be perceived as. If people decide they want something, they want it now always. If right now you decide you want to eat pizza for lunch, then you want pizza now, right? You don't want to wait an hour until the delivery DoorDash guy comes. No, you want your fucking pizza right now because you've already made up your mind. So shrink the timeline between their current situation and their desired outcome. Figure out a way to deliver results as fast as possible to your clients. You must find the right balance between offering a short enough timeline to make your offer attractive and being realistic enough to deliver. So obviously you can't just tell them it only takes us a day to deliver X outcome. You're probably not going to do it. It's going to backfire. They're going to ask for a refund. The whole point of this is you need to find the right balance, a short enough timeline that is going to increase the value of your offer, but it's also long enough to give you time to deliver. And another thing is, the moment you sign a client, you want to give them the feeling that they're getting what they paid for immediately. So boom, 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 they're already winning. The moment you sign them, they're already winning. There's shit taking place. There's action happening. This is what clients want. And the third element of a valuable offer is the required effort that is required from their end, right? And energy. Working even harder is challenging and uncomfortable for people. And most business owners, man, they're already working extremely hard. The less effort your client needs to put in to get results, the more valuable your offer is going to be. Business owners are skeptical about AI as they're not sure how it will be adopted in their organization. Make it easy for them. If your solution is complicated and requires human oversight to function, offer them a co-pilot or a training program or an onboarding session for their team members. Address every single hesitation they might have in your offer. Guys, at the end of the day, building an offer that when people see, they think, shit, I must have this. It always comes down to understanding your client's psychology, your ideal client's psychology and way of thinking, and kind of disarming them of many of the concerns they might have. But what if I do this and my team, doesn't know how to integrate it? Well, don't worry, we have that covered. I'm going to offer you a co-pilot or training or onboarding session for your team where I'm going to show them everything. And this is going to be basically a training program for your organization. Okay, but what if it doesn't work? Well, that's not a problem. We obviously have our guarantee in place, which you can always go ahead and get your money back if you're not satisfied. But you see, this is how you do it. You find out what kind of hesitations, what your clients have as an obstacle in their way of making a purchasing decision, and make your offer so appealing that that's no longer a problem. A great offer makes people feel like they're getting a bargain. It should sound almost like it's too good to be true, but not quite. So you don't want to make your offer sound too good to be true. Because then people are not going to trust you, especially business owners who've learned to, not take other people's words too seriously because they know that, people, they often mess up or they don't stick to their word. They want to see proof, they want to see results. But if you can make your offer sound too good to be true, almost but not quite, then all of a sudden it looks realistic, and that raises your certainty. And another pro tip I want to give you is that businesses want to reduce cost or increase efficiency to make more money. Packaging your solution as it will decrease X cost or it will increase speed of X isn't as attractive as make you X more. So calculate how much more money or time you can save them, translate that into profit, because money saved for a business is profit earned, or time saved for a business is also profit earned. And never underestimate the packaging of your offer. It can really make or break it, okay? A few more tips. It's significantly easier to get people to book a call with you when you have a valuable offer, because at the end of the day, guys, when you're reaching out to these businesses, and we're going to be getting into outreach in a little bit, you're basically making them a short pitch, and you're selling the call, why they should get on a call with you. If you have an offer that is genuinely valuable and it's attractive and it's actually good, then your marketing becomes easier, your sales become easier. That's not necessarily true with your fulfillment, because the more attractive your offer is, the easier it's going to be to close clients, but the harder it's going to be to deliver results. But you need to find the right balance between the two. Your offer should be the outcome of a constant feedback loop. So your offer is never final, right? It kind of adapts to the market and the changes that are taking place and the new information that is arriving in your ears. So listen to what your ideal clients say and make changes in your packaging and even in what you're selling. Don't be fixated on your ideas is the point of this. Many people think that they're going to start a business, and in 3 years, when they're going to be extremely successful, the thing that they're going to be selling is going to be the same thing that got them started. And this is very rarely the case. You need to be able to adapt, to change, to stay fluid with the market, because the only certainty in this life is that everything is going to be changing. Number 4, the essential key concept that you need to grasp here to be successful is that your offer is a fugazi, okay? Remember that scene from The Wolf of Wall Street where he talks about the stock market being a fugazi? It's basically fugazi, pew, or something like that. The concept behind the word fugazi is that it's fake, okay? Your offer doesn't really exist on paper. It's just packaging, it's words, it's how you make it seem, it's perception. Your offer is not necessarily the mechanism that you're going to end up delivering in the end. It's how you dress that mechanism. It's how you make your clients perceive it. This is very important for you to understand, because it kind of frees you up. It frees your mind, and it opens you to a new world where you can craft any sort of offer you would like, but never forget that you're going to also have to deliver. And yes, you can actually go ahead and sign clients by over-promising or even bullshitting them or lying to them. But then it's never going to work in the long term, because you're going to sign one person, 2 people, 3 people. Eventually, if you don't deliver, these people are either going to come and ask for their money back, or they're going to spread the word that you're not good or you're unethical. So understand that your offer is a fugazi, it's air, okay? It doesn't really exist it's not something concrete that you can touch, and figure out a way to make it appealing and attractive, but also be able to deliver it to your clients, because this is what is going to determine the long-term sustainability of your AI business. Now, what are the best AI mechanisms you can go ahead and sell to businesses today? So the way I see it is I break down AI solutions in 3 different categories, and perhaps there are more, but I like to keep things as simple as possible. The first one is marketing and sales. So basically solutions that are going to enhance marketing. It could be content, it could be data analysis from leads, or their sales, voice assistants, appointment setting chatbots, and whatnot. Then it's customer support. So I recently signed a client who owns a restaurant, put together for them an AI reservation voice assistant that takes reservations. This falls into the customer support category. And then we also have workflow automation. So you might take certain processes that are being manually completed by human hands and automate them through AI or through tools like Make.com or Zapier. For example, the onboarding process for a coaching business. A coach signs a new client for $10,000, and then you set up an automation for them when a new Stripe payment comes in. This sequence of steps take place. And to give you some more concrete example here, you can sell entry-level information chatbots that you can set up pretty quickly with FastBots. And this is a good lead magnet as well because it only takes like 5 or 10 minutes to set up, and most businesses don't even have one, at least with NLP capabilities. And you can sell that for free or even for $500. Recently, one of my subscribers DM'd me on Instagram, and he said he signed an Airbnb owner for an information chatbot through a networking event that he went to for £600. So maybe that's $700 or something. And guys, Airbnb owners, for example, they get a lot of the same questions again and again from people who are interested in renting their place. So they can actually tremendously benefit from a simple information chatbot that doesn't even have any major integrations other than maybe a WhatsApp integration or something like that. Another thing you can sell is customer support chatbots with backend integrations. Obviously, this is going to be a more complicated build and also a more valuable solution to your clients. You can charge between $5,000 and $15,000 for something like that. Number 4, customer support voice assistants with integrations. Now we're kind of entering the domain of AI voice. You can sell that for $3,000. I've even seen people sell it all the way up to $10,000. My restaurant client I signed for $5,000, so kind of between the middle there. You can sell inbound and outbound sales voice assistants with all sorts of integrations. Usually they range between $5,000 and $10,000. And listen, guys, these solutions can be very valuable. Okay, think about this. So there are many different online coaches who use Instagram as their main funnel. So they run Instagram shoutouts, they get traffic to their page, they run posts with a call to action, and people DM them. Many of them have 3 or 4 appointment setters working for them that they're paying each, $2,000 a month in base pay plus 5 or 10% in commission. So in total, every month, if they're doing serious revenue, they're paying tens of thousands of dollars to appointment setters to basically have some basic conversations with their leads. Think of how much value an inbound chatbot that can answer messages and handle conversations to book appointments can have with for a coaching business. And you can build those through VoiceFlow, through ManyChat, integrate them with different tools. You can also do that in the voice domain as well for AI assistants that make cold calls for real estate. I have a client that does that. But there are many different solutions that you can sell. Another thing you can do is sell a process automation solution. For example, onboarding, or in accounting, many businesses need to calculate their expenses. And these packages can range all the way between $1,000 and $20,000 or even more. Personally, in my agency, at this point in time, we're primarily focused in selling inbound and outbound voice assistants for sales, also customer support voice assistants, but mainly I try to specialize in voice assistants. And then you also have the world of full stack development, which are basically people or businesses who need complete projects, both front end and back end, built for them through AI. To give you an example, I recently got on a call with a guy that messaged me on Facebook, and he was interested in building kind of a not safe for work project with AI. Basically, it was going to be an adult image generation tool where you can build your own character, and then you can text with it in a sexual way. So I quoted this guy $25,000. This is what a full stack development is. These are full, complete build outs projects that you start from zero. They take a long time to build. And it's basically you're building them an entire business. So there you have it. Now, a quick side note here, the mechanism is how you deliver the outcome to your ideal clients. Initially, you might need to test different solutions to find the one that sells best for your niche. It's like a puzzle that you have to put all the pieces together in order to solve. After that, double down and solidify your position. So you might start reaching out to real estate realtors, thinking that what they really need is a chatbot, or they need to outsource the legal part of closing a deal with AI, and there's going to be this automation that sends over the contract and whatnot, or they might need a tool or a solution that follows up with older leads and kind of rejuvenates them and makes them active and warm again. But in reality, you don't really know what they actually need unless they tell you, unless you go ahead and ask them and you have conversations with these people, and they might end up needing voice assistants. Okay, so you're gonna have to experiment a little bit, test, ask people, keep your eyes and ears open to get information in, so you can decide what you're going to be selling eventually, or your only solution once you niche down. Now, number 3, booking appointments. We chose our niche. We build a very valuable offer for that niche. Now we need to spread the word out, start getting attention so we can get people on calls and make sales. So how do you go about booking appointments? The outreach process from 30,000 foot view is very simple. You start by garnering attention on any platform that you choose to do so, or even in person. And we're going to be diving into some of the platforms that I personally use and I've seen that work well for me and other people. Then you funnel that attention to see who's interested and who's not interested, who might be interested in 6 months from now and whatnot. And then once you find the people that are interested, you get on a call with them. This is basically how outreach works on a high level. Now, some pro tips for booking appointments. Number 1, booking appointments is harder than closing them. And this is kind of a paradox, I guess, because the ask for booking an appointment is for someone to spend 45 minutes or an hour with you on a call, but the ask for closing them is $5, $10, $20, $50,000. But people are going to be more hesitant to get on an appointment with you because once they do get on an appointment with you as a complete stranger, if you're doing cold outreach, then closing them all of a sudden becomes more easier because they already made the first step. So don't think that closing them is harder than getting people on a call. Oftentimes, booking the appointment is the hardest step. Once you have somebody on a call, even if you're a mediocre closer, and we're going to be getting into closing as well in this course, then it becomes easy. Now, focus on volume first and quality will follow. I see many people, they start with their outreach and they try to only message businesses that meet all the different criteria, and they're very detailed about it. And they're only trying to focus on high quality leads. The way I'm doing it is I start with a lot of volume of outreach, thousands and thousands of messages, DMs every single month. I try to book as many appointments as possible, even if they are with people that I know they're probably not going to close. And I know that as time goes on, the quality of those leads and those appointments that I'm booking is gradually going to go up, because the more calls you get on, the more you start to understand what that specific market needs, and you're also able to improve your marketing. You rehearse your closing skills, and it's just the natural way of doing things. You start with a lot of volume first. Don't really care who will get on an appointment with you. Just try to get on appointments with business owners. And then as time goes on, you're going to see that the quality of those appointments start going up because you end up knowing what it is you're looking for. Number 3, focus on selling the appointment, not your service. I see many people in their outreach, they focus too much on selling their service, but that's a step that you need to take once somebody's on a call with you already. If they're not on a call with you already, the way you're going to get them on a call is by selling them a reason why they need to get on that call in the first place. That's very important as well. Number 4, don't try to handle objections in text. Direct them on a call instead. Many times people are going to have questions if you're doing email or if you're sending them DMs and they don't understand this or that. And I'm not saying it's not good to give them a little more clarity through text, but oftentimes that confuses them even more. And it's just better to use that as an opportunity to direct them on a call, because handling objections on when somebody's live on a call with you or in person is hard in and of itself. Handling objections in text is just a nightmare. Most people, they ghost you, so avoid that. Number 5, contact decision makers or key people in an organization. You want to avoid low-ranking employees who don't have any purchasing power. At the end of the day, man, the person who's gonna say yes to you is a person who has power in that organization, in that company. It doesn't necessarily have to be the CEO. It can be a manager or a director, but don't just message everyone and anyone. Avoid that. Number 6, keep it short and straight to the point. When it comes to your outreach, these business people, they're busy. They're being flooded with outreach messages from SMAs, from all sorts of businesses. They don't have time to be reading a message that looks like a fucking novel, okay? Keep your message short, straight to the point, boom. All right? And I'm gonna give you some examples as well. Your first message should always aim to get open and reply to. This is the purpose of your first message, to get their attention, right? And get a response from them. Another tip is omni-channel outreach works the best. So if you want to make sure that you're maximizing the odds and the chances of someone getting on a call with you, then hitting them on all angles, on all social media, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on email, and also following up and nurturing them as time goes on is the highest probability method of getting responses. And last but not least, don't underestimate follow-ups and lead nurturing. High ticket deals can have long sales cycles. Just because a business has a need, it might take time for them to finally decide to do something about it. So if you're just sending 1 or 2 emails or messages to each lead and then you're ignoring them, then that's a big mistake, because what if they responded to your 8th or 10th or 15th outreach attempt? So always learn how to do follow-ups and continuously nurture and warm up your leads. It's like having a garden. You're planting seeds, then you keep watering those seeds, you keep paying attention to them, and eventually many of them will close. So email outreach, I'm gonna start with email outreach, and we're gonna be covering LinkedIn outreach as well and a few other platforms. All business owners check their email at least once a day. I know many people say email is dead. It's not dead, guys. Trust me. It's also the most competitive platform. It's not dead, but there's a lot of activity going on email. So here are the most important tips for you to be successful with email outreach. The first obstacle is sourcing qualified contact information. For that, I use snov.io to scrape targeted leads that meet a certain set of criteria, and I do that in bulk, so you can extract thousands and thousands of leads at the same time. And then snov.io also has a system where it scores the email address of each lead with a probability of whether or not this is a real email or a fake email or an inactive one or whatever. So I only add the verified addresses in my campaigns, because if you're sending emails to people whom their address is not verified, then that causes a bounce rate and it harms the reputation of your domain, which basically means that your emails are going to be landing in the spam folder. The second obstacle, which is the main obstacle people face, and they say that outreach on email doesn't work, is because they're landing in the spam inbox rather than the main inbox, and nobody checks their spam inbox ever. So if you can consistently figure out a way to land in the main inbox of businesses 80-90% of the time, then you're going to start booking a lot of calls. There are people that they're in your lead list, they're interested, they have the money, they have the pain you can solve, they will do business with you only if you landed in the main inbox so you could get their attention. To land in the main inbox, you're gonna have to warm up your email addresses for at least 30 to 45 days first, so you can train the algorithm that basically pays attention to spam activity to think that you're legitimate. And Snovio also gives you that feature, and it allows you to warm up your addresses. And I suggest you start with a lot of different business addresses. So you buy 5 or 10 business domains, maybe 2 emails under each, and then you start warming them up. The third obstacle is getting your emails open. And the 2 factors that primarily determine your open rate is going to be your subject line and the first line of the email, assuming you're landing in the main inbox. And then some other factors, also the profile picture that you have, the time that you sent the email, but those don't really affect it as much as the first 2. Some subject lines that tend to work that I've experimented with are either extremely weird stuff like "John, your Viagra is here" or something like that, or something that spikes their curiosity like "John, is this you? I haven't seen you in a long time." You can also give off a sense that you're interested in becoming a client, like putting in the subject title "Customer Support Inquiry" or "I have a question about X product" or whatever. The reason I don't really like this strategy specifically is because once people find that you're not really trying to buy from them and you're trying to sell them something, they're really turned off by it, and it kind of harms you later, even if it might get you a high open rate. So about the first line of your business, it shouldn't hint that you're pitching something, and it should also make them want to read even more. So if you just pitch them the first line, then there's going to be a drop off that happens there, because people don't like to be sold to. They like to buy stuff, yes, but they don't like to have somebody shove down their throat their solution. So an example here is you can imply that you've met them before. It's been a very long time, John. How have you been? And guys, you're going to have to experiment yourself, because certain emails work well in some markets. In other markets, you have to kind of adapt to their way of doing it. But this is a good starting ground for you. If you're willing to go ahead and experiment, start with this, and I promise you they do work. Another tip is once you get a response from someone, you really have 3 options. Number 1, you can either go for the kill, basically pitch them. Number 2, you can offer them a free demo. Or number 3, you can wait for a reply and then offer them the pitch. So you can say the subject line, the first line, "How have you been?" Wait for a reply and make that your pitch message. And I recommend option number 2 or 3, because at least you get to hear back from them before you go ahead and pitch them. And that's always good because you get a response back. So as far as the pitch goes, make it sound almost too good to be true, but not quite. If I could help you generate an extra 15 to qualified sell leads over the next 30 days using our AI cold calling system without ads, would you be interested? If yes, I would either love to hop on a quick call with you, a free AI consult call, and show you how this works and how it can help your organization. That's where you're selling the call. Or then you can actually go ahead and offer a free demo. Tell them that you have it ready already, okay? Many people who email me, they tell me that, hey, I've made this Loom video. They haven't really made it yet. They're only going to make it once they get a positive response. And if they want that, then you can send it to them. You can go ahead and build it and then send it to them. And the way you can phrase that is, I put together then you insert your solution, an AI chatbot for company name. Would you like to see it in action? If yes, and just make a Loom video in the process, send it to them with a call to action and a calendar link. And most times, guys, it could just be a Miro board where you show them how the flow will work, or you give them an example. You don't necessarily have to develop the entire solution beforehand. There's no point in doing that. Just give them an understanding of how it would work and what kind of value you can deliver to them. But personally, I've tested both approaches, both work. But I like the idea of focusing more on selling the call rather than my own solution at this point. And then a call to action you can give is, if you're interested, I would love to offer you 100% free AI consultation to walk you through this solution and how it can help your business achieve X, Y, and Z. The call, no strings attached. Here's what's going to be taking place on the call, X, Y, and Z. Use this link below or let me know if you have any questions. Here's the link. See you on the call. Now, what about LinkedIn outreach? Personally, I think that LinkedIn is the #1 platform for B2B sales. Every single serious businessman is on LinkedIn. So you can also use that to sign clients. And I've also used that in my own agency. A few tips for LinkedIn are: #1, start by optimizing your profile. Your picture is very important, your about section, your skills, your banner. You can have a few posts. You can ask your friends or previous clients or existing clients to leave some recommendations for you there on LinkedIn as well, because image matters a lot. So optimize your profile because you intend on using it to sign clients. #2, use Snovio's LinkedIn feature to set up automated campaigns so you don't have to manually do outreach yourself, which is very exhausting and takes a lot of time. In your campaigns on Snovio, you can also add the like post feature, where the campaign, before it messages someone, it's going to like a post of theirs, or it's going to send them a connection request, or it's going to endorse some of their skills. And add those features in your campaign because they really increase the open rate of your messages. It's one thing for someone to get one notification from your message. It's another thing to see that they've been getting 3, 4, 5 notifications every day for the past week before you message them. You suddenly become more, they basically know who you are already. They've seen your name pop up a few times. So also keep in mind that LinkedIn only allows 1 account per user. So don't try to create 10 different LinkedIn accounts. You're going to get blocked or it's not going to work. I've tried it. LinkedIn asks you to verify your ID. So you cannot really create 10 or 20 different LinkedIn accounts, at least under the same name. Another tip, #3, is send a connecting message with your connection request. So I think the LinkedIn caps out to like 300 words or characters. Hi, John. I see we're both in X market, let's say real estate, and I wanted to reach out and congratulate you. When I say praise ego, I basically mean congratulate them on a recent achievement that they've made. Maybe they got a promotion, maybe they signed a very big deal, maybe they started developing a new project. You can see that from their, from their page details and whatnot. And then, how long have you been in X business? That's a question that kind of opens up the conversation for you to transition later in to book the appointment. And then for the rest of the process, you can follow the email outreach blueprint that we kind of already walked through. The third channel, which I think many of you understand how valuable it is, but you're not really leveraging at the moment, is building a personal brand. What I'm currently doing right here on my YouTube. So having a large audience on YouTube is the only platform that can experience exponential growth and give you long-term success. And the way you do that is by documenting your AI automation agency journey on YouTube and focus making content for your market. So, guys, you can't just rely on cold outbound traffic for the long term. It can be a good way to sign your first 3, 5, 10 clients maybe, but you're gonna quickly realize that cold outreach is really capped. Unless you hire a bunch of salespeople, appointment setters, and you set up a quite sophisticated operation behind the scenes, and if you're just doing outreach yourself, you're gonna be capped at 10, 15, maybe $20,000 per month very quickly. So having a personal brand, a lot of people who know your name and know that, okay, you're the go-to AI guy for restaurants, let's say. This is the only way for you to get further that point and transition from a hunter to a fisher. Fishing is, hunting, which is what cold outreach is. You go out there with your spear, you look for prey, it's just tiring work. Fishing, on the other hand, you're just sitting there with your rod in the water and fish are coming to you. So you don't just want to be a hunter forever. A personal brand, a YouTube audience is what is going to allow you to transition from a hunter to a fisher. Number two, your YouTube is a longer term plan, okay? You're not going to start getting clients, or at least odds are, from the very first video that you upload. So be methodical and consistent with it. Maybe upload once a week. Focus on giving valuable content to your niche, and the inbound leads will slowly come. I've already gotten a few inbound leads from my YouTube channel for my agency, and I only have like 728 subscribers, I think, at this point. So you don't really need to be massive. You just need to be targeted with your content. Number three, you can also use YouTube as a nurturing platform for leads that aren't interested in your cold outreach. Share your YouTube content in your follow-ups. It's a very effective way to do mass nurturing at the same time for a lot of people. You know, they say that it takes about 7 to 15 follow-ups with a person to become your clients, and like 7 hours of them watching your content. It's very hard to achieve a 7-hour conversation with enough touch points just through text. YouTube is where you upload something, it stays there forever. People can always go ahead and watch it, and also strengthens the relationship that you have with that person because you show them your good side, your dark side. They can see how you think, the way you talk, your story. It just builds that connection much quicker versus doing it one-on-one. So you can have your outreach running to get clients in the short term, and at the same time have your YouTube as a way of getting clients in the long term, and also nurturing the leads that you get from your cold outreach. A quick note, guys. I know many of you understand how important it is to own a personal brand in 2024 and the years that are going to come after this. But for some reason, you're not going to do it. Only 5% at best of you who stuck up to page 36 in this presentation, only 5% of you are going to actually end up starting your YouTube channel. And I don't know why is that. Maybe, I don't know, you're afraid of how other people are going to judge you, or how you're going to perceive, or I don't really know why you're putting that off. But you know that everyone who's winning big right now with their AI automations agency is on YouTube. So do the same. Go ahead, after you finish this video, start your new YouTube channel and upload your video by the end of the week. And go ahead and send me your link on my Instagram. I'm going to leave the link of my Instagram in the description. Send me a link to your channel. I'm going to go ahead and like your video, subscribe to you to show you my support, because I think it's just very important. And think of what kind of an audience you would have right now on YouTube if you started 6 months ago, a year ago. So don't put that off, man. Go ahead, do that. And the people who don't do it because you're afraid, well, there are people who aren't afraid, my friend, or there are people who are afraid but do it anyway. So, you know, if you're going to learn, if you're going to let something as small as fear of what other mortals are going to think of you stand as the biggest obstacle in your success and your greatness, then you don't really deserve it. Another outreach method that I actually really like is word of mouth. Basically, networking, referrals. This is the most powerful way to get leads next to a nurtured YouTube audience. And I had a guy who messaged me on IG saying that he signed, I think it was his first or second client through a networking event that he went to. I also signed a client whom I met at a party. I went to a beach party. It was kind of a random event, but I met a guy there who ended up owning a business, and we ended up working together. If you don't have clients to ask for referrals, start by leveraging your network. You might not have clients, but you have friends who their dads own businesses. Maybe you know business owners themselves. Who do you know who owns a business that can benefit from your AI solutions? It's that simple, guys. And it's not necessarily that they're in a certain niche yet. I mean, we've already established that. In the beginning, try to get projects coming your way, try to sign clients, try to get some experience. So it doesn't really matter who you work with in the beginning before you niche down. So who do you know who can connect you or owns a business themselves get in touch with that person, call them, meet with them, go for some coffee, and try to get in their network so they can eventually become your clients and then recommend you to other people. Go to business events and shake as many hands as possible. Introduce yourself and what it is that you do. And a pro tip here is you can also set up an AI voice assistant before the event and ask people to give it a call and see it in action for themselves, because guys, AI is still new. I know I've been talking about it for the past few months. There are people on YouTube who've been talking about it for like a year, maybe a year and a few months, but it's still very new. People, business owners, they don't really understand the functionality and the capability and the value they can bring on the table. I bet that 95% of business owners, they haven't even heard the term AI voice assistant before in their life. So what happens if you go to a networking event, they ask you what it is you do, and you don't tell them, you show them by, hey, why don't you call this number? It will tell you what it is I do. And they end up calling a voice assistant for their specific niche, and they can talk to it right out there on the spot. This is massive value for them, and immediately many of them are going to end up being interested. Number 3, as everyone is focused on selling to strangers online, having an in-person touch in your client acquisition will set you apart. Guys, this is so underrated in today's day and age. In-person sales, everyone is trying to make money online, and we have forgotten that the world is still a physical reality we're living in. People shake people's hands, right? They have in-person conversations, and if you have the confidence and the charisma to walk up to someone who's a business owner, shake their hands, watch them straight in the eye, and manage the conversation to the point where you do business with them, then you're going to be set apart from everyone else, because everyone is trying the same tired methods. Everyone is blasting on email these days. Everyone is blasting on LinkedIn. To set yourself apart, you need to go to places where other people are not willing to go. So keep that in mind. Many of the clients that you're going to sign are going to come from follow-ups. Okay, so we're getting into the topic of follow-ups now. Follow-ups are very, very important in sales. It takes time for most people to trust you and give you money, so don't be in a rush. Focus on planting seeds, like I said before. Continue to water them, and trees will eventually blossom. Your YouTube content will be your most powerful follow-up and lead nurturing asset. They say it takes, as I said, 7 hours of content. No, Siri, go the fuck away. They say it takes 7 hours of content for a stranger to become a buyer and 8 to 15 touch points. So with content, you can do mass nurturing at the same time with many different people. Direct everyone from your cold outreach to your YouTube and let time do its thing. And it also gives you a lot of credibility to have a large following on YouTube for some reason, because people assume that since other people are watching you, then you must be legit. So they immediately trust you, even if they're complete strangers. So your YouTube, I think, is going to be your most effective follow-up tool. On emails and on LinkedIn now, have long-term follow-up campaigns. Unless someone tells you to stop messaging them, then message them once or twice a week max. And remember that follow-ups is a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's going to take time for people to go from a no to a maybe to a yes. And as long as you're keeping in touch with them, and with each message you're adding more value, you're building up your authority, then eventually some of them, not everyone, some of them are going to become your clients. Now, some examples of follow-ups you can use. Hey John, following up regarding helping your business with XYZ. If you're interested, we can hop on a quick call and talk further. Here's my calendar link. Or, hey John, I just uploaded a new video on my YouTube channel about how AI can help restaurants automate X process. Feel free to check it out. Here it is. I bet this can save you a lot of money every month. And also another form of follow-up is sending reminders to people who have booked an appointment with you. It's not enough to just get someone to book an appointment. They also need to show up. And usually in B2B sales, it's easier to get people to show up because they're more professional. B2C, it's kind of a different story. But here, we're having to do with professional businessmen, but it's always good to send them some reminders before the call because they're busy, they might have forgotten, or other things could come up. They must put some fires out or whatever. So send them reminders. And also, if they don't close, follow up after the call. They're interested enough to get to the call. They might not need it this much to pay you now and do a deal together today, but as time goes on, maybe the right timing comes from them. And as far as your calendar goes, the more questions you have in your calendar form that a lead has to answer in order to get on a call with you, the higher the drop-off rate is going to be. So only gather essential information that you can use as ammunition later on in your closing calls. So one question that I like to ask is there anyone else involved in making a decision about integrating AI in your business? Basically, you're asking, hey, can you make a decision yourself, or are you going to tell me that there is a partner involved after I spend an hour with you on a call? And if they say no to that, then you have already disarmed them from one potential objection, which is not going to come up. Or if it does come up, then you can reference the answer they put in the form. If they say yes, then also try to have the other person be on the call with you, because if they just get on the call themselves and there is a partner involved, then they're going to spend an hour of your time and then they're going to tell you, yeah, I can't really make a decision right now. I have to talk to my partner. And then they're not going to sell the solution to their partner as good as you sold it to them. So then you just lost a deal because you didn't ask the right question initially. Another question I like to ask is, what's the number one problem you're trying to solve with an AI voice assistant or something? And that's also going to give you a starting ground to kick off the conversation once they get on the call and start uncovering and developing their needs. Once they're booked, you can also direct them to a landing page where you have a lot of your testimonials there. If you have some, that's also going to be helpful. Maybe you can have some sort of a video where you talk more about you and the clients you've worked with. So step number 4 is closing clients. We've established how to find a niche, how to create a valuable offer in your client's eyes. We've established how to generate appointments with these leads, get their attention and convert that into qualified appointments. But now, how do you go about closing your clients and converting that attention into money? Well, for closing, I use a 7-step process. The first step is building rapport. The second, framing. The third, uncover the problem. The fourth, uncover their goal. The fifth step is establishing the gap between their current and desired circumstances, and then presenting the offer, and then we get to the closing so we can make money. Now, before the call, you want to make sure that you do as much research as possible on your prospect. Check out their website, check out their social media, check out their about pages on their social media, check the personal information of that person on LinkedIn, learn more about what they're selling, how their funnel looks like, and other critical information, because it always offers you an advantage to know a lot about the other person that you have on a call with you. And also be on Zoom 5 minutes before. If you have a lead waiting for you to get on a call, that kind of gets off a bad sense that you're unprofessional and nobody likes that. Be there before your leads with a notepad ready, and also make sure you record your meeting so you can watch it later, see what worked, see what didn't work, send it to other people. You can also send it to me if you want me to give you some feedback, or any other expert in this industry. But that's important. You always want to be recording your calls. So the very first step is building rapport. Greet the prospect as soon as they can hear you. On Zoom, there are 3 dots that it basically tells you this person cannot hear you yet. The moment they go away, hit them up. Hey, John, I'm excited to have you here. How's your day going so far? And the whole point of building rapport, guys, is basically small talk, so you can lower their guard, make them feel more comfortable, give them a sense of your personality, so they can hopefully like you. You want to talk to them for 2 or 3 minutes until you feel ready to move forward. And the key here is to get somebody to lower their guard, is to talk about their interests from their social media, that you found that they have, and also be relatable to them. So basically establish a common interest that you have. If they're interested in cats, you're fucking interested in cats, okay? It doesn't matter if you hate cats. You're trying to make money here, you're trying to make a sale, you're talking to that person. If they're interested in playing ping pong, all right? I like ping pong as well. Now, it happens to be true, but even if it wasn't, personally, maybe you want to play by a different set of rules, but personally, hey, I love ping pong as well. And if I know that they're interested in ping pong, I would do some research beforehand about some key ping pong players or a tournament that took place, or the world record, some interesting facts about ping pong. So I can talk to them about it and show them that we have a common interest. And then once you feel like they're more open for discussion, once you've lowered their guards, once they feel like, oh, this guy's just like me, we're both interested in the same thing, and we must also be interested in other things, right? Then that's where you move forward to the next step. The way you do that is, so John, shall we dive into this call? You ask them, and they're going to say yes. A quick side note, small talk should feel natural. It shouldn't ever feel like you're forcing it or pushing it, or you're acting weird or awkward, or you're thinking about what you're going to say next. And to avoid that happen, you need to maintain a playful demeanor so you can easily transition between topics and keep the ball in your field. And I guess the closest thing I could relate that to is game with women. You don't want to be like this weirdo guy or this super like poker face guy, or you look angry. No, you want to be playful. You want to be fluid. You want to be able to transition between ideas, topics, bounce the ball back and forth. So I think that's the best mental attitude that you can have on a closing call, is being playful, because that's where your creativity works the hardest as well. You can always come up with ideas like that. Now, step 2 is framing the call. Once you finish up with small talk, now you want to transition to telling them how the call is going to go. Explain to the prospect what is about to happen moving forward over the next hour. And this gives you a few advantages. Number 1, you show that you have authority in the call. You show that this is your call. You're the fucking boss on this call, and you're going to be asking the questions. You tell the prospect what to expect, and you also tell them that you're going to be handling all their questions towards the end of this call. So the script you can use here is, so John, I'll start by asking you a few questions to understand more about your business and needs. If I feel confident that this is the right match and our AI solution is applicable in your business, I'll show you how my offer works. And from there, you can decide whether or not this is something you would like to move forward with. Any questions you might have, we can answer them at the end. Does it sound good to you? And the reason you tell them you're going to be answering their questions at the end is because it can get very irritating and offsetting having someone ask you the wrong question at the wrong time. It can put you off balance. So by establishing that you're going to give them all the clarity they need, but on your terms towards the end of the call, then it kind of leaves a plane empty for your framework to be implemented and help you close a deal. Step 3 is uncover and develop their need. And here are some questions that you can ask. I always ask by what motivated you to join me on this call. So what is the reason you're here? What made you respond to my email, let's say? And what you're going to find out is the reason they often give you here is also the reason that is going to make them close. Another question is, you said the number 1 problem you're trying to solve is X. Remember this from the form that they filled up. Can you tell me more about that? Why is that a problem? How is it affecting your business? What is not solving it costing you every month? If you were to put a number on it, it's very important to quantify their problem and make the pain feel real now. And you do that by asking open-ended, smart, strategic questions, because all you're trying to do is uncover the problem that they have and develop it into a massive problem that it needs solving right now, because it's such an expensive one, such a pain in the ass. They need to do something about it. How long has that been going for? That also extends the duration that the problem has been present, so it also inflates it. Have you made any attempts to solve X problem? If yes, tell me more about that. If no, why haven't you done anything about it? Why do you think now is the right time to do something about it? This is also a key question because everything they say here is like court, all right? If you've ever been to court, you know that they'll tell you everything that you're going to say here, it can be used basically against you to put you in jail or charge you with a massive fine or whatever it might be. So everything that they say here, you're going to be using it later on. If they come up with objections to turn their words against them. I know it sounds super maybe even manipulative, but this is how closing works, okay? This is how everyone is doing it, and this is how you can become very good at it. And at the end of the day, if you truly believe in your solution and the value that it's going to bring on the table for your clients, then there's nothing wrong with it because it's for a good end. Now, some additional tips. Number one, this is a part of the call where you should spend most of your time on. So a good rule I like to follow in my closing calls is the 80-20 rule, where I let the prospect talk 80% of the time and I only talk 20% of the time. But you can also apply this rule on the actual framework itself. So I spend the majority of the time of the call asking questions and paying close attention to the answers that my prospect is giving me. Also write them down. So this is the most important part of the call by far. Once you identify the problem they're trying to solve, inflate it, make it seem more urgent. And the way you do that is by asking the right questions. And number three, it's not about identifying 10 problems that need solving. It's about identifying the one key problem and going deep with your questions and making that problem feel real now and make them feel that they need to do something about it. Also, make sure you're asking open-ended questions just so you put them in a situation where they're forced to give you more information than what you actually need. You never know what they're going to say anyway, so they might say something that implies whatever it might be. It might imply that they're not financially qualified or whatever. So pay close attention to them when they're talking. Use the acknowledge, relate framework, the ARA framework, to blend in your questions and sound more conversational and natural. The ARA framework is basically, once they answer your question, you acknowledge them, you tell them, oh, okay, that sounds very interesting. You agree with them even, and then you relate with them, acknowledge, relate. And what relate means, it can be, yeah, I see where you're coming from, or you can even tell them a short story of how you had that problem yourself and how you overcame it, or how a client had that problem themselves and you helped them solve it. And then you ask your next question again. And what that does is it serves a lot of purposes. The main one is it enhances and strengthens the relationship because you're relating with them. You're giving them an idea, a sense of who you truly are, and you're making them trust you. This is where trust is being built. It's important to paint a detailed picture of the problem they're facing right now. So that's why I said try to quantify the problem, try to make it something that you can grab. Also, if necessary, you can ask for technical information as well. If that's something you need to know from your clients to do business with them, gather that information too. And the key part of being good in sales, guys, is you have to be emotionally charged. Okay, and the best way I can explain that is you have to have that energy about you to manage to have the right body language, the right face expressions on your face, ask the right questions with the right demeanor. And the best way to do that, I mean, I've heard people jumping on and off of trampolines before sales calls. I've heard people do push-ups. I've heard people do semen retention, believe it or not, for like their boxers or something for 3 or 4 days in a row, just so they can have this power and strength in the way they talk, and they can penetrate. A way that I do things is I learn or train myself to turn my anxiety into excitement. And this, I think, the most effective way to do it. Rather than just being anxious and being too self-centered and thinking too much about oh, do I look good in the camera? Am I going to mess this up? Is this guy going to close? Rather than do that, rather than project inward, try to project outward. Be that playful guy, that seductive guy that just knows how to behave on the call. And this is how I turn my anxiety to excitement. I stop caring about me and I focus all my attention to the other person. The fourth step is to uncover the goals that your ideal client has. So in an ideal world, how would you like X part of your business to work? How much more time and money you think will save or make you if we were able to solve this problem? How would you feel if that was the case? You want to get them to talk about feelings as well. It's not just about numbers, it's also about feelings. What are you going to do with that, with these extra resources? How are you going to invest them in your business? Tell me more about X. You said that you're going to invest in this part of your business. Why is that? How do you feel about AI automating X part of your business? What are your main concerns? You want to address their concerns before you get to the point of presenting your offer, or at least many of their concerns. And then from there, once you have a clear idea of how their situation looks right now and what kind of problem they're trying to solve, and then you also have a clear, detailed understanding of their goal and where they want to move towards. Now you want to establish a gap. And the gap is basically what exists, the space between their current and desired situation. So repeat to them their own words. Just so I have this right, John, and make sure I was paying attention to you. You said that currently you have X problem and it's costing you this much and it's been going on for this long. You also said that solving this problem will help you achieve X, Y, and Z. Do I have that right? And by repeating to them what it is that they told you, you kind of put everything in its place. You give them perspective. Oh yeah, that's what I said. That's what it is, right? I have this problem and it is costing me this much and it's been going on for this long. I better do something about it because I want to move there. So these are some persuasion tactics that you can use. Once you get a yes here, move on. They also feel heard. Should we dive into how our offer for your company would work? The step number 6 is presenting your offer. And the way you want to do that is by saying a very confident phrase. John, I'm 100% confident that I can help you go from current situation to desired situation over the next 30 days. The way we're going to be solving your problem is through, then you talk a little bit about your solution, through an outbound cold calling AI assistant that is going to be calling a list of leads that you plug into, and it's going to sound and feel like a human, blah, blah, blah. Over the next 30 days, we're going to be implementing. Now give them some of the features that directly address their need. So if they need, let's say a cold calling bot with NLP capabilities and backend integrations with the CRM and ability to escalate to a human live, talk to them about that. Sell them what they want. Give them what they need, and then also state the guarantee of your offer. And then you want to go ahead and ask them, is this something you think your organization could benefit from? And from there, most of them, they're going to say yes, of course, because you're just telling them what they're looking for. And then ask them if they have any questions. If they ask you about pricing, say, I was just going to get into that. Let's cover the rest of your questions first, and then we'll get into pricing shortly. And they're going to ask you with a bunch of questions, most of them, if they're genuinely serious. So match their needs with the pillars of your offer. This is a very important tip. Don't try to tell them that your offer is going to do things for them that they don't really care about. Talk to them about the things that they do care about, because the more features you mention about your offer that are not directly correlated to explicit or developed needs that your clients have, the less valuable your offer seems to their eyes, because they think that they're paying for something that they don't really need. You can also screen share your computer and show them a presentation if you want to add a more visual effect. Sometimes that's good, or other times it's bad. It depends. If you want to do a presentation on your computer and walk them through it, make sure that it's not an evergreen presentation. And if it is an evergreen presentation, that's the same for everyone. make sure you're still raising those points vocally so they understand how it applies for them specifically. Also, don't drag the offer presentation for too long. You're raising a lot of questions and they're going to drag you down into their weeds. They're going to start asking you about things that they don't understand, maybe things that they don't even want to understand, but you're raising their curiosity. Instead, focus on giving them just enough information to understand it on a high level, but not too much information to confuse them, especially if we're selling like AI solutions. There are a lot of terms that these people don't understand. Don't start telling them about hallucinations and how your models, they're accurate all the time and all that. They don't care about that, bro. What they do care is the outcome. So sell them the outcome. Focus way too much on the outcome and too little on the minute details that go into it. Sell them the outcome. What they want is leads or customer support, or sell them what it is they want. And when you're answering your questions, keep your answers short and straight to the point. Simplify things for them. When you can simplify a concept to a person, you all of a sudden seem like a figure of authority, number one. And also, it's just easier for them to grasp them and come up with, make the right decision. So once you clarified their questions, and we're moving on to step number 7 now, closing. Now it's time to state your price. So John, you've asked me about how pricing works. So for everything I mentioned, to help your business generate an extra $100,000 a month with our AI powered tools, it's going to cost you $10,000. Do you want to move forward with this? And then shut up and wait for them to give you their answer. A tactic that you can implement here that works well in B2C sales, suppose it works in B2B sales as well, is you can say that we normally charge 2x. However, if you want to move forward on this call, I'll cut down our price to 2x. And then you give them the call to action. But it always depends on how your pricing model is for your offer. So there's not a golden rule. Just make sure once you present your pricing, you're like, boom, it's $10,000. Do you want to move forward with this? And always ask for the close as well. If you just say it's $10,000 and you don't ask for the close, very rarely it happens where people are going to tell you, yo, yeah, I want it. I want to spend 10 grand right now. It just doesn't work this way. So you're going to have to ask the person if they want to do it. About 30% of the people who will close will say yes to you and straight up, and 70% of them will get into objections. So it's very important you know how to handle certain objections that will often come up in your sales calls for your AI agency. Now guys, when it comes to objections, I've noticed that there are really 4 types of different objections that business owners tend to use when you're trying to sell them AI automation solutions. The first one are objections that are revolving around pricing. They might tell you that it's too much, or I wasn't expecting it to be this expensive. Number 2, we have timing. I'm not sure if this is the right time for me. Maybe we should wait. I have this expense coming up, or I want to wait until the beginning of the new year, whatever. Number 3, you have effectiveness. And I think this is the most common one. I've gotten this a few times. I'm not sure if this will work for my market. We're dealing with high-end people. They're used to human touch. I'm not sure if AI can replicate that. So I don't know how effective it's going to be for my market. And number 4, we have effort. It will take a lot of effort to adapt our team to the new processes. We're going to need to train them. I'm not sure if it's worth it and whatnot. And guys, keep in mind that all objections are basically concerns that your prospects might have for why this might not be a good decision to make. And the way I view objections, I always try to categorize them in 2 different buckets. We have value-based objections, and then we have logistical-based objections. And value-based objections mean that either you haven't built enough value throughout the call for the client to feel that this is exactly what I need and it's worth that much money and it's going to solve me this problem, or they might also mean that they just don't trust you enough to give you money. And then logistical objections are objections that have a reason that is rooted in reality. And the same objection can fall into either bucket depending on the context that surrounds it. But we're going to get to that. For now, here is my objection handling process. So the very first step I always take is to agree with them. No matter what they say, I always agree with them. If they say it's too expensive, yes, I understand that, sir. Of course it is expensive. It's certainly not cheap by any pocket standards. However, so I agree with them first, because in the end, we're seeking agreement. We want the person to agree with us, to pay us money and work with us. And you're not going to get an agreement out of somebody because you're disagreeing with them. It's not how human nature works. You're going to stir a lot of resentment. So avoid disagreeing with your prospects, no matter how wrong they are, guys. It doesn't matter. We're not here to argue with them. We are here to get paid, okay? The second step is to clarify. So when I say clarify, I'm trying to categorize which bucket I should put the objection in. So to give you an example, let's say that you present your offer, you ask for the close, and the prospect says it's too expensive. Now, this can mean two things. If they don't actually have the money in their bank account, then it makes this objection a logistical objection, and there's not much you can do about that. They genuinely don't have the money. What do you expect them to do? So that's rooted in reality, and it's your job to clarify that. That's very important, because unless you're able to see through the smoke, you're never going to be able to overcome an objection successfully. Now, if they do have money, but they're not sure if your solution is worth that much, then it makes it a value objection. They either don't think it's worth it or they don't trust you. So this is why it's important you learn how to clarify objections, because it determines how you're going to resolve them eventually. And then I disarm the objections. You see here this image cutting the fuse of a bomb. Disarming the objection basically means making an argument why this is not true, or why this doesn't matter. And making an argument, the argument can sometimes even be an emotional argument. It's not necessarily a logical argument. It can also be an emotional argument that you make. And then I ask for the close. If they say no, which they don't, usually people don't say no, by the way, in sales. They just kind of, they're very, they'll present reasons to you that basically imply a maybe, but they'll never tell you a straight up no in your face, because they've already made it on that call. They are interested. It's just this obstacle, this concern that stands in their way, that is not allowing them to make a decision, either because they're afraid or because they genuinely can't make a decision right now. So agree and acknowledge, the first step. Never disagree with your prospects, no matter how wrong they are. Try to see the world through their eyes. I hear you, and I must say you're right, this is not cheap. Then you want to put the objection into one of two buckets. You must identify if the objection is logistical or value-based, so you can overcome it. Let me ask you this. It doesn't matter right now the fact that you don't physically have that kind of money sitting around ready to be invested. You're basically asking them if the objection is logistical, or could it be that you don't think it's worth that much for what you're getting, or perhaps that you haven't really trusted me that much to believe that this is going to turn out and be okay and it's going to work for you. So by asking them that question, they're going to tell you what the reason is. And usually 95% of objections, at least from my experience of taking thousands and thousands of calls, both for my SMA, this agency, and other businesses, most objections are fear-based objections. Only 5% of people, they actually give you real logistical objections. Most of them, they just kind of throw smoke screens at you because there is an element of trust that is missing. But in a case that it is actually a logistical objection, if they don't have the money, which in B2B sales is not that common, business owners do have money, there is not much else you can say here. If they honestly don't have the money, you should have either weeded them out beforehand, before they even got on a call, or if that's not part of your process, then you can ask them to take a loan on it, or in most cases, just keep in touch with them for a future deal. Maybe 3 months go by, 6 months go by, they manage to save up some money, they prioritize your solution, If you're keep nurturing them, like I told you, you're directing them to your YouTube channel, you're sending them value, you're staying in touch with them, eventually there's going to come a day that they're going to need your solution and they're going to work with you. Now, if the objection is value-based, which most objections are going to be value-based, they don't trust you or they don't see the value in your proposal. In this case, you want to use their own words as ammunition. Remember what I told you about turning their words against them? And I know I'm saying it kind of raw, but essentially this is what it is that you're doing. You can say, I'm with you on this. As I said, right now, not solving X problem is costing you. So what you're doing here is basically reversing. You're trying to get them to understand how valuable your offer is by showcasing to them what not having it is costing them. So X problem is costing you, let's say, $10,000 a month, and it's been going on for a year now. So far, this has costed you over $120,000 in wasted money. Is it worth spending, let's say your solution is $10,000, spending $10,000 to make $100,000 or $120,000? Absolutely. And unless you don't trust me or our ability to deliver results, then I don't see why you shouldn't be doing it. And also, if what makes you uncomfortable moving forward is the fact that you might think this is not going to be effective for you, or you might think that going to take your money and run or whatever, don't forget our guarantee, which is basically a safety net to make you feel more confident. We're also going to put it on paper. With that being said, do you want to move forward with this, sir? Okay. And then some people are going to say yes to that. Okay, yes, I guess you're right. Let's do it. Okay, let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. Other people are going to tell you, yeah, well, really, I mean, I don't know. I want to think about it. If they tell you that, then you repeat the process again. Of course, you should think about it. This is an important decision for you to make. I don't want you making any rash decisions when it comes down to such an important aspect of your business. Let me ask you this. What is it specifically? Let's be honest with each other here. What is it that you want to think about? And then they're going to tell you, in many times, now the real reason is going to come up. Because before that, they were just kind of avoiding the hard conversation. But now they're going to give you the real reason of what they want to think about it. And then from there, you can handle it. And guys, when it comes to objections, you really need to be on top of your game to do a good enough job beforehand or during the probing phase of the call to make sure that by the time you get to the closing, the person sees the value, they understand what they're getting, they need exactly what you've presented to them, they feel like it's going to work. Because once you get into this realm of handling objections, then you really have to be extremely good at it to make this work. And I also want to give you a couple more tips that I haven't really put down here before we move to the final pillar. Or I don't even think this is a final pillar. I think this pillar number 5 will have a few more. This is a long video, man. The tip I want to share with you is once you close someone and they agree to do business with you, what you want to do immediately is eliminate buyer's remorse. So you want to pump yourself up and just congratulate them, tell them they've made a great decision, because typically people, after they spend a lot of money, immediately there's a thought in the back of their head where they're thinking, okay, shit, what have I done? Is this going to work? They start having doubts again. They were emotionally charged, they made a buying decision, and now their logical brain kicks into play and they think, okay, shit, is this going to work out? Is this guy going to take my money and run? Is this project going to work? Is he going to deliver on time? They have all these questions. So make sure you remove that feeling from them by congratulating them, by assuring them that everything is going to be fine. I know that might be a minor tip, but I promise you it makes a lot of difference. Number 5, the 5th pillar is project development. You chose your niche, you created a great offer, you've learned how to do outreach and started booking your first few appointments. You've learned how to close them, or at least sort of, because any of these topics is just too much and there's too much depth to cover everything, and this is already like a 2-hour long video. But these are the basics. With this course, you can go out there and start make a genuine attempt to sign clients. But number 5 is project development. Now it's time to develop a project for your clients and make them delighted. I added in the description of this video a link of the template that I use as a contract in my own AI agency. You can go ahead and check it out and obviously make tweaks to it to adapt it to your specific needs and situations. But that's a contract that I have my clients sign when we do business together through DocuSign. Now, when it comes down to project development, the first step that you need to have in place is an onboarding process. And I personally break down our onboarding process in 2 different steps. We have the onboarding form and then we have the onboarding call. So the very first step is the onboarding form. The moment they close, I send them the contract, they sign it, money's in, then it's time for them to fill up this form. And this form is basically a Google form with a bunch of questions that they have to fill up. This is where I ask them for critical information, links, resources, access points, key data, API keys, whatever, competitors that I want to do research on, their target audience, so I can understand how we're going to be developing this solution for their market. I also invite them on our communication channel. Personally use WhatsApp, you can use Slack or whatever it is that you want. And then from there, once they fill that up, I schedule them on an onboarding call. And between the time they filled up the onboarding form and the onboarding call, I actually sit down and I review all the details they put in that form to make sure that if I do have any questions, I'm going to ask them on the call. Now, the onboarding call, this is where I greet the client and set expectations on our communication and an ongoing support and how we're going to be working together. I also have them invite the key team members to WhatsApp, or if you want to use Slack. And many times these business owners, if they're CEOs, they have 50, 100 employees, they're going to have like an IT guy or something. And he's going to be the main guy you're going to be dealing with. You also want to gather additional information on that onboarding call, maybe stuff that they missed out or whatever, and also give them a document with action items that you want them to perform. Now, action items, maybe you want them to create a subscription under a certain tool, or maybe you want, whatever it might be that you want from them to perform and give you access to, you can put it on that document. Then provide the project roadmap with clearly defined timelines. So the first week, this is what is going to be taking place. After that, we're going to be setting up the minimum viable product, and then we're going to be testing it. And week 4, you're going to be getting delivery of it. And after that, the next 2 weeks or every month, we're going to be getting on a call together and going over the details of the project. And the real world data that it gathered, and then making adjustments to it. And then mark the beginning of the project. And some project development tips that I want to give you guys is maintain a tight-knit communication with the client and give them regular updates. And also, when you say you're going to do something by X date, like genuinely put your hardest effort into delivering that by that date, because this is how people build their image of yours, and it's your reputation at the end of the day. Present your minimum viable product to demonstrate value and gather feedback. So as soon as you have something that is functional or even semi-functional, present it to them. It can be your AI voice assistant without the backend integrations. Show it to them. Get them to see that you're working on something and there's something that is being built. Make them part of it. Thoroughly test your solution and try to get it to break in real world scenarios. So, many times you set up a prompt, and the prompt is good for a basic test that you're going to do. But once you start like pushing it, or you call it 100 times, then you quickly learn that it makes mistakes and it's misbehaving or it has hallucinations. So it's very important you thoroughly test your solutions and try to get them to break give them a real world scenario, guys. People are going to get angry at them. People are going to, whatever, they're not going to know what they want. Try to replicate reality for your AI solution so they're actually functional. And then once your project is ready, get on a delivery call with the relevant team members or the CEO of the company, whatever, and showcase the project and ask them for feedback. Then real world implementation. Once you deploy the project for your client in the real world, then you want to start running tests, gather data, be on the lookout for occasions where your solution underperforms or makes errors or whatever it might be. If we're talking about chatbots, view the chat logs or the call logs as well, listen to the recordings. And yeah, be open for feedback, because many times you're going to need to make adjustments or changes. And that's also why you're offering the additional monthly support. Continue to review the performance of the project and make adjustments, improvements post-delivery. Gather feedback from your client to ensure their satisfaction. And the last pillar, number 6, is hiring team members. And honestly, guys, if you just want to build a $10,000 a month AI agency, you really don't need any team members. Even if you want to build a $15,000 per month agency, you don't need any team members. I have a developer who works on my projects. And if you are to hire someone, get someone to complement your weak areas. So most of you guys, you're going to be weak in development, right? You don't really understand. You're not a make.com expert. You're not a Zapier expert. You're not a prompt engineer. You're learning them. But there are people out there who have a 5, 10, 15 year head start than you, and they're in a more advantageous position. So if you prioritize quality of your solutions, then I would highly advise you go ahead and hire a developer, maybe on Fiverr. You can also use LinkedIn, Facebook, or other freelance sites like freelancer.com or whatever. Find someone who is not necessarily the cheapest one, but strikes you as he has the right balance between skill and price. Find someone who replies quickly. That's very important. Experience beats everything. So don't take their word for it. View their track record, how long they've been doing it, what kind of projects they've worked for or on. Number 4, leverage their case studies. So that's also very important. If you're servicing a specific market, try to find a developer who has experience selling that particular thing that you want to be selling, even if you're a beginner, to that market, and leverage their case studies so you can basically boost your sales and make people trust you easier. And number 5, set the right expectations from the start when it comes to your team member, and make sure he understands the priorities and he sees himself in the bigger picture. And I would also recommend you guys, you take your relationship elsewhere. Don't keep it on the, let's say if you find someone on Fiverr, get his WhatsApp, do business one-on-one moving forward, get Fiverr out the way. It just doesn't help. Maybe you can try doing one deal on Fiverr and then just so you can build your trust, but then from there, do it one-on-one. And I also want to give you some essential AI tools that you can use. Fastbots for simple information chatbots. You can sell those free or up to $500-$600 if you want to. Hostinger, you can build your AI website in under 5 minutes. I actually have a tutorial on YouTube how I built my website for AI Solved using this platform. Then we have VoiceFlow for sales, customer support chatbots, appointment setting chatbots, you name it. Make.com, I think, is the best logic platform out there. Maybe you can also try Zapier. And then for AI voice assistants, I use oneinbox.ai, which is a company that one of my friends owns, and it allows you to build transient inbound and outbound voice assistants using AI. So these are the main tools that you're going to be using. And obviously each of those requires a level of skill and understanding to develop a solution. But while you're learning, go ahead, find a freelancer or a contractor to handle your projects for your clients, because a lot of these guys, man, they know what they're doing. They have a lot of experience, and They're just gonna boost your business massively. So that was a course, guys, 76 slides long, about 2 hours into it. And listen, if you've made it this far into the video, drop me a like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I can obviously go into more depth about each of those. I mean, we can make this a 200-hour long video if we want it, but it's already too long, to be honest with you. But yeah, guys, if you're not planning to do anything with this information, then I'm sorry you've wasted your fucking time. So actually go out there, connect with me on IG, and just start at least trying to build your own AI agency. And I promise you, this information is more than enough to get you your first $5,000 client. I mean, this is mainly what I did to sign my first client. So there you have it. Go crush it. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on another video. Thanks.